Oké, welkom bij Babelonië, zaterdag 3 uur. Goedemiddag, Is.
Goedemiddag, ik hoor u heel slecht.
Hoorde je mij heel slecht? Dat is raar, want nogthans staat alles hier open.
Oké, dan moet ik mijn dingen hier een beetje bij.
Okay. Dat was uw eigen koptelefoon, die wat stiller stond. Ja. Voilà, het was, zoals je gehoord hebt, we gaan naar Afrika, meer bepaald naar Kameroen. Want jij hebt wat gasten meegebracht.
Ja, die zijn helemaal zelf gekomen. We gaan niet alleen naar Kameroen, maar deze twee mensen zijn wel van Kameroen.
Ja.
We hebben een paar maanden geleden al, hoe kwamen we daar eigenlijk op? Ineens op het idee om iets over Bantu-talen te doen. Maar
er waren toen mensen hier te gast in de studio, herinner ik mij nog,
ja,
die niets met ons programma te maken hadden, maar... Ja.
En daar waren we dan mee aan de babbel geraakt.
Zoiets, ja.
Voilà.
Mm-hmm.
Dus dan heeft iemand daarvan iemand doorgegeven en dat is deze meneer en die heet Fidelis Mbaku. Je kunt Nederlands of Engels spreken naar gelang dat u wilde. But maybe it's better to do the interview in English because your Dutch isn't not yet. Okay, very fluent. So can you tell us who you are and where you are from and...
Well, my name is Mbaku Fidelis. I'm from Cameroon, and specifically from Mogamo. That's Batibo as headquarters. We speak the Mogamo language that we are going to try to speak a bit with my brother who is here, Mr. Fokabo Valentine. So I live in Belgium for over more than 15 years, and I live in Hasselt.
Yes, I heard your accent when you were talking Dutch earlier.
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
That's Limburg Cameroon accent.
Yeah, so I'm happy to be here. Actually, we've been looking for such an opportunity to express our culture and our language, how we also interact with other languages. But I think this is an opportunity for us. We look at it to be a beginning, that we are hoping that we will do that over and over. And
host your own show on this radio station.
That is the dream. That's the dream. Thank you.
I wanted to ask you. I googled you, or I looked you up, and I saw you studied at Yaoundé University.
Yes.
And it was linguistic department, so I thought you were the right man for this program. So, but what exactly did you study?
I study linguistics. That was English language and as a first language, and French as a second language.
Okay, but not your own language.
No.
Okay, but you have linguistic insight. So
yes, because actually in Cameroon we have a lot of languages. Some that you can't even count. About 250, 252. And most of the languages are not standardized, so they're not written that you can really study them. So that is kind of a problem. You have about 5 to 7 languages that are actually written, but the rest of the languages have not been updated. They have not been standardized. So.
And is there any study into them? I mean, does the university in Cameroon pay attention to?
Honestly, not really. Little is being done about that.
So the languages that I thought are the European languages.
Really, and in the university, the languages are being taught are 2 languages, French and English. Actually, those are colonial languages, as we say. French that came from France and English that came from the United Kingdom. Yeah. So those are our 2 official languages, and those are the languages that are being taught in school.
Okay. Now I want to ask you who you are. So your name is Valentine Fokabo?
Yeah, of course I'm Valentine Fokabo.
And you live in Antwerp?
I live in Antwerp, and precisely in Deurne. In fact, I've been in Belgium for close to 7 years, and in fact, it's really an opportunity. It's a privilege for me. From Mogamo, Batibo, precisely. for this program to come and express our culture. Yeah, as we were talking with my brother Fidelis, I equally studied in Cameroon. From the University of Shang. I have a bachelor's degree in law and political sciences. So, in fact, it's really a privilege for us to come here to express ourselves, express our culture, to promote our culture, especially for those back at home, our brothers and sisters who are equally in other European countries and American countries and so on and so forth. So, it's really a privilege for us.
Okay, thank you. So, but if you say brothers, do you mean that literally, or?
Well,
I mean, are you blood relatives, or is it just a way of speaking?
No, for us, a brother doesn't really mean that you're from the same mother or the same father.
Okay.
When we come, because we come from the same the same tribe. We are from the same tribe. We speak the same dialect. And when we grow together, we school together, we play football together. So then it becomes like a big from a small family to a bigger family. Sure. So, and we know ourselves as brothers and sisters. So
okay,
that's our sense of solidarity.
Living together.
Maybe I should jump in for a second, because one of the listeners has told me that one of the microphones apparently is not working very well. So
dat is een deze.
Is was misschien niet zo goed hoorbaar daarnet, maar als jullie met 3 rond die ene micro gaan zitten, dan
dat
zal
heb
dat
ik
wel.
al gedaan, hè?
Voilà, oké.
Ik ben erbij geschoven.
A bit of a technical problem.
Ja. Okay.
You mentioned your tribe. I found 2 names, Mogamo and Batibo.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between?
No, Mogamo is actually Batibo is under Mogamo. I would say in this way, in terms of the language, because Mogamo is the language we speak.
Ah, okay.
And the tribe itself.
And the tribe itself. Batibo is the head, is a village.
It's
and headquarters.
It's a town.
And headquarters of Mogamo.
Capital.
Yeah, the capital.
Okay.
Because in Cameroon we have what you call divisions and subdivisions, like administrative units.
Yes, like provincie.
And so Batibo is actually the administrative headquarters of the administrative unit.
Oh, okay.
Of Mogamo.
That was a bit confusing because I found Batibo music and I found Mogamo music and didn't exactly understand the difference, but now it makes sense.
Yeah. So Mogamo is made of 22 villages. And under these 22 villages, the headquarter or the administrative headquarter is Batibo as a center.
22 villages. And how many people in total then?
That is a good question. I wouldn't
you
say.
Didn't count.
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't be able to give you an exact, but
a rough estimation. Is it like a million or is it like 10 million or is it like 100,000?
No, that would be much. We will be looking at a figure not more than 200,000 because of the recent crisis in Cameroon at the moment that has made it that's caused a lot of loss of lives. Especially in Batibo. A lot of people have been killed and a lot have fled. Migrated. So it's very, very difficult to even make a sense or to know how many people.
Number of persons that are there now.
So there is a large diaspora, people living abroad speaking this language. Yeah.
Of course.
And in which countries? Particularly in Belgium or?
Well, I would say most of the people speaking Mogamo that in the diaspora are found in the USA. You've got thousands of them in the USA.
Particularly in Texas, Maryland. And
in Texas?
Washington, D.C.
Why Texas?
Why? What's so special about Texas then?
Well, I think I think that the way our people live is just like the way we are living here now. The first people that migrated to America, where they settled, and
The rest
the rest follow.
follows.
Yeah, so
That's quite usual with migrations.
yes,
People tend to move
because it's
together
easy.
during-
It's easy then to integrate. It's easy to be taught about how things go. Yeah, so that's the reason. And then you have a lot of Mogamo people here in Belgium itself, in the UK, in Germany, France, Italy, Austria. They're all over.
Denmark,
Pretty much all over
Sweden,
Europe.
Yes.
Finland.
Yeah.
So
So what I think is special is that in your country apparently both French and English are used. So you have this line.
Official languages even.
Yes,
They are
but
the
I
two
mean,
official languages.
in Africa has been more or less divided. I mean, you have the French part where French was is now still the official language, and then countries where English is the official language.
Yes, you're right.
And then of course some countries that completely escaped, like Ethiopia. But and in your country, you have both.
Yeah, in our country we have both because actually a bit of history. Our country is actually the way colonized. It was colonized by two European countries, by France and the United Kingdom. And actually, where we come from, Mogamo, is part of the region that was colonized by the United Kingdom. That's why we speak best. We speak English. English is to us. For
Yes.
people who don't speak the dialect, it is like a mother tongue. Because that's where, from birth, that's what you learn to speak. That's what you speak. And on the other side, that was colonized by France. You have they speak typical just French. So in Cameroon,
and dialects too.
and dialects too. But so Cameroon is like, it's just like Belgium. You have
Wallonia
and you have
Flemish.
And Brussels.
yeah. So that is just
Yeah. And in the government, let's say, what language do they use? Do they use both?
I would say then it will bring us a little bit to a bit of politics.
To Belgium.
Yeah, to Belgium. Actually, in the government, in the parliament, the official languages,
The working language.
the working language is supposed to be French and English, but apparently it is always French.
and the fee, what is being applicable.
Yes, and so I think that is what actually, those are some of the reasons that have caused the unrest that has been in Cameroon for more than 2 years now.
So you have a language struggle.
Yeah.
Not
only-
actually a long language struggle. That language can just be a small an iota of the situation.
It's a symptom of a deeper.
A pretext.
A pretext, because normally the language has been dominating. Apart from the language, you discover there are many other things. Even though we're diving into a bit of politics, you know, in normal life, in government, you see the high offices, maybe they're being dominated by the French speaking, even though they have the population and whatsoever thing. And then it's like some sort of assimilation. Like France, the French part, they want to actually assimilate the English part. They wonder what is being practiced there, like in English part. Students should be taught in French. Lecturers in the English part of the country should be French lecturers. So it brings a lot of problems, because normally, like you are in a Flemish zone in Belgium. I don't think if they should take, maybe you are going to school, somebody from Brussels who speaks solely French to come and teach here in Flemish, I think it will be a problem for you to even understand in French. So that one is just a small problem, without which, even though we're not here in politics, that's just a small item, but a
It
larger
seems to
part.
be even more complicated in Cameroon, because there you have all the local African languages, and then there's the two colonial languages that are competing with each other and with the African languages. Then.
Yeah,
So-
we have, just as my brother said, we have a complex situation. It's not only about language, it's about culture. The
Of course, languages are usually,
yes, the real thing is about a way of life, because we the English speaking part of Cameroon really has a unique culture, quite a different culture, a way of life different from that,
From the rest.
from the French speaking part.
And do you think that is caused by the fact that you had a different colonizer? Because I know that the way of ruling of the French was very different from that of the British. So they
definitely.
Normally.
That is the real cause.
Even from the colonial policies that were implemented in Africa during colonization, France had a different colonial policy, the policy of assimilation. Which they used to call their overseas territories as overseas colonies as part of their provinces.
Yes, like governance.
Governance. But why the British, they have a different system. They have an indirect rule, ruling through the local chiefs, local administrators to build them towards further self-governance. So it's really like the case of Cameroon, which normally we had to Britain and France due to the fact that during the First World War, Britain and France, they defeated the Germans from Cameroon, which was the original colonial master of Cameroon was Germany.
So when it was divided after
World War II.
So before that, Germany was. And did people speak German then? Do you have older people in your country who still speak German?
That was before 1919.
Yes.
That is when
they have to be very.
That was before
the First World War.
Yeah, that was before 1919.
I know that before, when we were small, we used to have a very, very old man just in the quarter where we live. And I remember that he used to understand German. Because he fought with the Germans then, when they were in Cameroon. But that's just, as my brother said, that's something just be around the First World War. And so when they were defeated, when the Germans were defeated, then Cameroon was then shared into two powers, which
like a cake.
Which was the French and the English. So, and that's where to date there are a lot of disparities between these two people, because those were completely two different people. And where we come from in the earlier stage were actually being also administered by part of Nigeria before. So, and in 1961, that's where we actually were then moved to join the French-speaking part of Cameroon to actually make what Cameroon is today.
So, do I understand correctly? So, the part where you live was part of the country Nigeria?
It was
Nigeria.
It was
initially.
Initially,
during this period, Nigeria was colonized by Britain, by the United Kingdom. So, actually, when Cameroon was partitioned into two parts, Britain to one part, and France equally to one part of it. So it was like British. They said that in fact they didn't have enough administrators that could send to the English part of Cameroon to administer that part, since they were those who fought and defeated the Germans, so they had to share it into two parts. So they decided to take that English part that was given to them, our own section, to merge it to Nigeria for easy administration. So they were not ready to send administrators. So that is how we found ourselves with Nigeria in the Eastern Regional House in Nigeria. So by then, Southern Cameroons were represented in the Eastern Regional House of Assembly in Nigeria.
That's how it was called. Southern Cameroon.
Southern Cameroon. British Southern Cameroons. And then we have French Cameroon, or La Republic of Cameroon. All were under the United Nations.
Those were the two official names given. And one of the troubles that we had after that is because a condition was given to the Southern Cameroons then to either choose, because it was like you want to give freedom to somebody actually, but you're not giving freedom to somebody, but then you still hold.
You give a choice.
You give a choice. The condition. So they were asked either to remain with Nigeria and be part of Nigeria, or they choose to join
an independent
La
Republic of Cameroon.
La Republic of Cameroon. So at that, but joining them as equal states. So actually, like
A federation.
a federation. And that's
what
that's what happened. And so Cameroon before was a federation.
And now it isn't anymore.
Now it isn't anymore, and that's one of the. That's why we're saying that then we're going into politics, because that's one of the reasons that there's been there's been a lot of fighting, a civil war actually in Cameroon at the moment, in the part where we come from. Yes, for the past since 2016. So very soon it will be.
Because it was
October this year will make it 3 years
since 2016.
That they've been continuous. Thousands of people have been killed. Hundreds of thousands of people internally displaced. There are tens of thousands of refugees in Nigeria, in Ghana. Yeah, so it's quite a serious. It's quite a serious situation.
Random lines on the map.
It's quite a serious.
One thing
I have it in my head.
is most people actually, like in Cameroon, especially French Cameroonians, speaking Cameroonians, they don't even know the history. I'm sorry to say so, but that is a fact.
I know. It was something in the French colonies. The children got history, but that was the history of France, not their own history.
Even us when we were in secondary school, when we were in high school, they used to study the history of Europe, the history. We knew about Europe before we even dream of coming to Europe. But the history of Cameroon is like the real history of Cameroon was hidden from us, especially we English Cameroonians, speaking Cameroonians, we Anglophones. Because we realized that during this period, Nigeria got independent in 1960, 1st October. La Republic of Cameroon equally got independence, 1st January 1960. So during this period, Southern Cameroon, British Southern Cameroon, was hanging in the air. They was hanging in the air. Nigeria said, okay, we got our independence in 1960. La Republic is on independence in 1960. How about Southern Cameroon? So there was a plebiscite that was organized, and a condition was given to Southern Cameroon. Will you like to join independent with an independent Nigeria, or would you like to get independent with La Republic of Cameroon?
And do you think you would have liked to stay a separate country?
If that third option was given to us, and that is why we always agitate that we were being treated poorly. Yes, we're being cheated. If that third option was given to Southern Cameroon, I don't think the situation that is in Cameroon now would have been. Yeah, so we had no choice. Since we already have affiliations with French Cameroon, we had to join them as federated states with a federal constitution.
That was the condition.
That was a condition, as two equal states. Yes, federate like in Canada.
And what is so important about your region? Are there many natural resources? Or,
of course, because initially we realized that from 1961, we had a Fumban conference in 1961, everything moved well. But when the former president of Cameroon, Amadou Ahidjo, may he so rest in peace, when they realized that we had oil in Limbe, Southern Cameroon, that is why the federal constitution of Cameroon was changed overnight.
Yeah, then the trouble starts. Yes. So you have oil.
We have oil, we have timber.
Yeah.
Timber. We have
everything that you could imagine that can make a country rich.
Even uranium? That's in Niger.
That's in Niger. Yes. That's in Niger. But we don't know that here because most part of that southern part of Cameroon has not been exploited.
No.
But
it's still there.
It's still virgin. And the only thing that is being exploited now is the oil. Apart from that, the rest of the thing is still there. A lot of natural resources.
And it's worth fighting for.
I think that is the reason why what is actually happening at the moment started since 1972. But gradually, just as they say, when you push people to the wall, and when there comes a time when they do not have anything to lose, when people think we do not have anything to lose. So we're fed up. It is either this way or nothing else. That is what actually is happening in Cameroon. Because when you see over more than 2 years, in our region, children have not been going to school for more than 2 years. Nobody's going to school. No businesses are really booming. Nothing. If you get photos now of people living back home, at home, the streets, this grass on the street, people fled. The place is like a desert.
People are
You
killed,
people are killed like animals, and you have people at a certain time, corpses lying on the street,
abandoned corpses.
And you do not dare to go and carry, even if it's your brother. You are afraid, because if you go to carry at times, you could be shot. So it's a very sad situation.
One thing I think maybe you are still to get there, or you may like to ask is, from this 1973 or 1972 to now, why is it that it's only for the past 3 years that things have really escalated up to this point? Yeah, I think that would be an interesting question that you may like to ask, because we realize that for these past 3 years, from 2016 to now, that is when things have really changed.
And why is it?
Yeah, that was a
And
question.
it got really violent.
Yeah, it became violent. Yeah. We realized that during this period, 2016, in fact, the rate at which Southern Cameroonians were marginalized was unbearable. It started with the teachers. The teachers, secondary school teachers, university lecturers, students agitated because in English-speaking schools, they send French Francophone lecturers. Either children are poorly taught, children could not perform in exams well, they could not get scholarships because the language, they could not even understand the language. The teachers could not even teach. And then you realize that in universities that are in the English part of Cameroon, all the administrators were French speaking, were Francophones. Everything was Francophone. So it became a problem. The teachers said, no, it cannot be possible. They started protesting. It was a peaceful, people started peaceful demonstration that this situation should be addressed.
Carrying leaves. Green leaves.
Yeah, they should actually, the government should actually see into this problem. The government kept deaf ears. Apart from that, I myself am a legal student. I read law and political sciences. I know Cameroon is a bijura state. We have two legal systems in Cameroon. We have the common law that is being practiced in our own part of the country, the English part of Cameroon, and we have the civil law that is being practiced in the French part of Cameroon. So we realize that lecturers in the lawyers, English part of Cameroon, common law lecturers, they had to complain that in courts, you realize that the judges that were sent there were Francophone judges. People who have studied all their life in civil law, they send them to administer in common law courts. So the submissions were not moving. They could not come out with good conclusions because they were not versed with the systems. Those are two separate, distinct systems that do not merge together.
Yes, that's silly. Yeah. That's like sending a judge from Holland to France, or I mean.
You're absolutely right.
Understand?
So
You got it.
Now you
So-
got it.
And then a teacher, a professor at the university. even.
Professor. So the lawyers too, it was not moving. They had to send a memorandum to the head of state, to the Minister of Justice. The first one, the second one, the third one, nothing was heard. So they decided to move on the street too with a simple protest. So when they made this protest, you described the lawyers, they were caught by police officers, they were beaten, their ribs were torn off, and so on and so forth. Some were even arrested.
And this is about 3 years ago.
Yeah,
2016.
2000 October, about October 2016.
So realize that when all this happened, teachers were on the street striking, students were not going to school, the lawyers too were on the street, the civil society, they came in. The civil society came in, people, business people, everything was not moving. You open a small business, the taxes that will come and give on you are unbearable. The funniest thing is, the money that even used, roads are poor, there is no electricity, there is no water. People were suffering in the English part of Cameroon. So
the central government was taking taxes but not investing in the region. Yeah.
Just imagine a place like Limbe, where we have the petroleum company Sonara that produces petrol. Instead of paying taxes to that particular locality in Victoria, that was a colony of Victoria, but taxes are paid in the French part of Cameroon, in Douala.
And it doesn't come back.
It doesn't come back.
No.
It's just like you produce, like the port of Antwerp that is here. They don't pay the people who remove containers here or export. They don't pay taxes to the commune in Antwerp, but they go and pay commune in Brussels. Is that possible?
Yeah. Yes, this is of course a common problem with extracting companies who go in not near the capital but in more remote areas, and then they have, of course, a contract with the central government, and they don't care about...
Yeah. So, in fact, this point, it actually makes me... When I was in high school, I read geography. When we had a topic, energy and mineral resources of Cameroon, the extraction. So I asked my lecturer, my teacher, how much money does petroleum exploitation generate to the GDP or GNP of Cameroon? Mm-hmm. My lecturer told me that he's sorry. That thank God that we are not in Yaoundé, because this question they don't ask. That all the monies from there, it goes to the central government. It is at the presidential level. We don't know how much money. The money from petrol is not in the Cameroon budget. That one is presidential budget. In fact, it was so embarrassing.
Wait, there is a presidential budget and there is a Cameroon budget. There's two different budgets.
And what is the president? That's for shopping in Paris? Or
I don't understand. Maybe it's for Switzerland, because the president is always in Switzerland, Continental Hotel in Switzerland, or for what, I don't understand. That one is budget at the presidency. They don't need to give an account for. So all these things, that's when you realize that when all these struggles, when the teachers, they start protesting, lawyers, they're protesting, the civil society, the people came on street, the president came and declared war on southern Cameroonians. They were shooting people.
Let me get it straight. The entire oil budget revenues go to a presidential budget. Nothing goes to the state
entire
itself,
budget for petrol in Cameroon goes to the presidency. The revenue. It goes to the presidency.
So it is basically a nationalized, but only in the hands of...
Privatized for one person.
For one person.
Privatized for the national head of state.
Exactly.
And the people don't get anything.
They don't care, especially the people in that locality.
Well, if I may come in, I will want to talk globally on how Cameroon has operated over years. When we look at the situation we are talking about now, I think one of the reasons that we are also talking when you ask those questions and we answer them here is to create an awareness. Because to the best of our knowledge, we are living here in Belgium, and it's more than 2 years. You've not, and I don't think any of you heard about what is happening in Cameroon over any radio or any TV station. Nothing. No images. No. And the European Union says nothing about it. But so it's so heartbreaking because we know that when the genocide in Rwanda happened, they had promised that never would they allow something to happen like that. But if you can go even online from Amnesty International and read and look at videos, summary executions that have been happening in Cameroon for more than 2 years now, then you ask yourself, why is the rest of the world, the people who are supposed to say something, why are they quiet? Mm-hmm. Because people are suffering. People are suffering. Seriously.
So you have you have an organization, I understood. And is that about creating awareness, or is it more something cultural, or?
We have actually the Mogamo Cultural and Development Association, and you have these associations all over the diaspora, where you find many Mogamoans residing. They will come together as a group and form an association, and the purpose is to promote our culture still out of Cameroon, and secondly, to see how we also, as Mogamoans, as sons and daughters of the Batibo, that we can come together and see in our own little way how we can contribute to the development of our villages and our towns. And I think for the past few years we've done also our own part in the current crisis. Like we had a lot, because right at Batibo at this subdivisional level, we have a lot of refugee camps, people that their homes have been burnt down by the military. They do not have a place to sleep, no food to eat, nothing. So we sit together, we contribute money, and then we try to make sure they get some foodstuff to eat, some things to wear, and some basic medication to take. All right. Even now, as we are talking, in April, our community all over Europe is also organizing something in Germany that we are encouraging all Mogamoans over Europe to be there. It is also to raise a bit of money to see how we can support to give aid to those assistance to those that are being affected by this crisis.
And do you also try to talk to decision makers and to influence them to have more attention for the problem?
I'm hoping that with programs like this, that we can create some awareness that people here can also start asking questions also here in the parliament, because it's also their responsibility to say what is happening in Cameroon. Why can't you people also do something? Because we as individuals, we as a group, the level of tension in Cameroon at the moment is that if I will want to talk to somebody, then I get accused of maybe trying to interfere or trying to influence. So we are only praying and hoping that we get people like the European Union, the United Nations that can mediate, because sincerely speaking, we need peace. And the funny thing is the people that suffer most,
the grassroots,
are the people in the remote areas, are the people in our villages where we come from, and older people, elderly people, and very young people who now for more than 2 years are not going to school. So they are at home. They get frustrated, they get radicalized. So if you cannot bring peace, that generation, the generation behind us, what are they going to have? Nothing. Because, they're not going to school at the moment. And our parents, why do they eat when you can't go to the farm where you eat from? Because a lot of our parents are farmers. And with this tension, a lot of them are living in the bushes. You can't farm, so you can't really eat. It makes it also difficult for people even to go to hospitals, because there is a certain day, Monday is grounded. In our part of the country, it is grounded. Nobody goes to work, no shop is open. So if you are sick on that day, you've got a problem, because even to get to the hospital will be a problem. Because even if you call Médecins Sans Frontières, those that could help, they do not come to every part. They can't go to the suburbs. So you will have to find yourself somewhere that you could be picked by an ambulance. So it's a very, very, very difficult situation.
Zullen wij even een muziekje tussendoor doen? Want we zijn al 3 kwartier aan het praten en we worden een beetje... I'm going to have a little music, because for people who are listening it's a bit...
You send me a video of a dance.
Yes.
Of course, this is a radio station, so we don't send out the images.
No, it's okay.
It's a small fragment of 50 seconds, but gives you an idea of local music and, dance. You can't see it.
Yeah.
Okay. Oké, dit laatste was Lucky Wonder-Kathi. Je hebt nog iets te vertellen?
Ja, staat hem aan?
Ja.
Oké. We gingen het eigenlijk over Bantu-talen hebben. En hun taal is natuurlijk een Bantu-taal. Want ik ga dat eventjes situeren. Je hebt in Afrika een paar grote taalgroepen. En de grootste, dat zijn de Niger-Congo-talen. Dat is het supergrootste deel van Afrika. Dat is zo van ongeveer vlak onder de Sahara tot Zuid-Afrika. En daar heb je dan weer zo 3 grote onderverdelingen in. En daar heb je dan weer onderverdelingen in. En daar ergens binnen heb je dan de Bantu-talen. En de Bantu-talen, dat is eigenlijk... wij kennen... Congo is onze, enfin niet van mij, maar een Belgische kolonie geweest.
Ja.
En Swahili en Lingala zijn bijvoorbeeld Bantu-talen. En er zijn in de Bantu-talen ook een aantal kliktalen. En dat is wel heel grappig. Ik had zo'n klein fragmentje bij, maar ik weet niet wat jij dat daarop top staan.
Ja, als dat machine terugwerkt, is het goed.
En kliktalen zijn dus talen die ook dit soort geluiden gebruiken. Ik kan het niet. Ja, het is niet echt... Ja?
Zal ik het even opzetten?
Een klein stukje.
Ja.
En waar dat die goed voor zijn. Dus die Bantu-talen zijn het meest verspreid. Er zijn 350 miljoen sprekers. En het zijn toontalen. En dat wou ik eigenlijk wel vragen aan jullie. Toontalen, dat betekent, is dat in jullie taal ook, dat er verschillende toonhoogtes zijn die een verschil maken in de betekenis, zoals in het Chinees eigenlijk, hè?
Ja.
Dus
Ja.
een woord heeft dan, naar gelang dat het stijgt of daalt, een andere betekenis.
Ja.
Klopt dat?
Ja. Ja.
Want dat is voor ons heel moeilijk om te begrijpen. It's very difficult for us to understand that a language has tonality, which means that a word has a different meaning depending on if you go up or down
Yes,
in the
up
sound.
and down. Yeah. Our language operates in that form also, depending on the context.
Yeah.
Yeah, the context will determine at certain times the way you pronounce the word, either with a high tone or with a low tone. Yeah.
And there is something else. I will continue. You have a system where all nouns are divided in categories which have a prefix that designates the category. I mean, I know fulfulde, pular, yes? So, and they also have this system. I mean, all words that have something to do with a liquid end in dam. Diyam is water, pendidam is something with milk, kossam is... But is it true? You have some system like this, but then something before? No?
No, just as I said before, our language, our dialect is actually not standardized to an extent so it becomes difficult for us to sort out all those words. But there are also you have some particular type of words that when you pronouncing them, they seem much more the same. So, but I cannot make an assertion to say no, that just like the language you talked about, that we have that. No, I don't think so, because if you have, for example, you have water, and our language is mini. Yeah.
And milk.
How do you call milk? Milk to us, ibn. Milk, because ibn, and it depends now on if the milk is from cow or
from human.
From human, then the word is different. And
I see.
Yes,
you have cow milk.
Yeah.
And do you drink other milk? Goat milk?
We in our tribe, we don't really drink goat meat.
So there is no word for that.
It would be difficult to come up with a word like that. But what we know
is milk.
Is milk. It's milk. Ibn. And we know cow milk. That's the common milk that we drink. But because goats for us is actually used like meat. Yes, it's not really for milk
and
as here.
At times too, the breast itself,
Yes.
itself
It's
is
called
called ibn.
Yeah.
And then the milk that comes in from there is called ibn.
Huh.
Yeah.
So at times it depends on the context which you put it or what we are referring to.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. So you
And then,
Can
so
you-
if you want to differentiate
may
it,
we speak a bit in the dialect so you can...
if you want to
Yes.
differentiate it,
Yeah.
you see,
Sounds
can-
a bit
you can
tricky
tell
when
each
you're
other
talking
what
to
you-
a woman, then you can get
Yeah,
some...
if we speak a bit in the dialect, maybe just for a minute or two, you could then, after that, then ask us what we've been talking, then you will see, you hear a bit of
the tone.
a bit of the language.
Absolutely.
so you can talk about your first impressions about the radio.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Go ahead.
Abu, a nation here.
Ma akere ashinga juma je bon anenti nyinga ne bongani abushune te banyene egumbuni te gami mokonda nega mbabar ninga chan for mbinishi bibijuwa bakere gaga bom gamugo nishi mbebe kondowo ne numbune dunga chan
Yeah.
baga mbambinishi te kera te beretie mo chingo juni te fi chugongu ani omugo nugo ben fombi nabi ka war mo ni ka bere anugo mo wo fi tomu kana te be shi mate abembe bi ka shi din kanwe abemba bere ninga chaniga be jonji akwa anugo chon mo konda te bi kurka ni chimbige niga ga te be wuri ye
No, yan watchon because yan wom oni ya gambi to te kriye and anu kono chuo ko oboto ya it's good for koning na kan den timi shi eman de tan chu nyer a chi chon maning kiriga ta yi e chon ni gon tibi shan wugun ya no cake and that tango tibi tan tom te kman ga be ne be shin dan be fa chu fa jore ga ya no cake and then ya ber ma be nga chan be ya anga bambin don ne begin wom ombe ka kamni aga njite ta tan shankanga ni abere keri because nu ombe nguni aga chibere keri nu ombe nguni aga chibere keri kambia ba kinna ka nu ombe nguni aga mo te ga chi febe chuku ga chi ke ka ndem mo yande akin ba ka ga ni chi ke jimbo be ka kondo aga ba ga chi ke ji e bon ga chi chom
yani
ji
akira abone te boye nga chi te ba ma agu abemba bere ni ga mbe keri ga te wa
ga bon kimbe nga
Did I hear because? Do you use sometimes
Yes.
use small English words?
Yeah.
Is that ook opgegaan? Ik hoorde een
You were very smart.
Yeah, you're very keen.
You're very keen. And
we are fond of language, so yeah.
Yeah, at times I can equally use another word. Yeah, bichungni because really bichungni because.
Okay, so
So what was that all about?
don't repeat everything.
No, it's a summary. It's a resume on why we are here and the message we are trying to send to our community abroad and those back home. And we are hoping that we will do this also frequently and in due course, so that if the people at home who are listening to us or abroad also have other ideas, and they can also channel it to us so that we can also discuss it here. And so that most importantly, it's our first time, so we are talking about just almost everything.
Globally.
But next time that will be coming, we'll have
topics.
specific topics. We'll choose something that will come. Actually, we'll talk about that, and that we can also maybe get questions from other people.
Okay, we have to get out because the next program is starting in half a minute.
I know.
Okay, maybe I've just one last quick question. The Mogamo language, is it a vibrant? Because there's 250 languages. How are they doing? Is there a youth culture? Is there literature? Is it flourishing?
It is a vibrant language.
That's a very
It's a very vibrant language. What you see in that in the link I gave you, I sent to you on YouTube. That's just to tell you. That's just to give you a tip on our eyes, but how the people operate. And I think that the next time we will be here, we'll actually have to sing a traditional song so that you can see how how vibrant our culture is.
Yeah.
That's a very great
Oké.
idea. Okay, thank you for
Volgende keer in
coming.
Baskisch?
Ja, thank you for coming. Dit was Babelonië en mogelijk gaat het over 2 weken inderdaad over Baskisch, want volgende week zaterdag is er blijkbaar een loopwedstrijd in Brussel voor de Baskische taalscholen. En ik ga daar eens een keer kijken. Dus we houden nu op de hoogte. Dit was Babelonië, tot over 2 weken.
Thank you.